For the last set review video, it's all X Antibody support. This will be the only video for this set review that does not encompass deck profiles. Because the support cards are not just Galmon, Renamon, and Dramon, there's also another Demon Lord with Barbamon X as well. This would mean 4 different deck profiles, and for now, I'd like to keep these on a more streamlined and tested process that I normally do. Galmon X is the first card to go over in this set review episode, and is the peak level 3 Digimon that was desperately needed for Galmon decks. It has an on-play and when Digivolving effect that is a searcher much like Galmon X. Man, if Agumon X was purple, it probably would have been a lot better. This card reveals the top 3 cards and adds 1 Galmon or Galmon named card, and 1 X Antibody option to the hand. The rest get bottom decked. It's inheritable as a your turn. Once per turn when any of your opponent's Digimon are deleted, you gain 1 memory. And the best part? The Digivolution cost of 0, specifically from Digimon. Calling it now? This card is probably going to get limited at some point, just because dual color X Antibody level 3s seem to be problematic. Romon X is a step up from previous Romon X as well, being that instead of increasing the DP of deletion based effects, it's like Galmon X for supplying memory. When Digivolving, you draw 1 and trash 1 card in your hand. Then if X Antibody or Galmon is in the Digivolution sources, this Digimon gains on deletion, play 1 card with Galmon in its name from your trash without paying the cost. Not quite the same tempo as Romon X, but this is another Digimon that based on color, filtering, and effect, it could become problematic. Especially if we also get a Galmon Ace in the future that can warp off of a Galmon. Galmon X is a simple inheritable of security attack +1. It also digivolves from Galmon explicitly for 1 memory. When digivolving until the end of your opponent's turn, this Digimon can't be returned to the hand or deck and gets plus 3000 DP. Then if Galmon or X Antibodies in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, you delete 1 of your opponent's Digimon with 10,000 DP or less. The removal on this Digimon alone is insane, and makes me honestly wish we had something like this in Greymon decks, because the removal is so subpar at this point. But considering this prevents removal, makes it extra valuable to keep your body on board. For the last secret rare of this set, it's going to be up to Galmon X Antibody. This triple color Digimon digivolves for 4 from a red, blue, or yellow card or Galmon specifically for 1 memory. When digivolving and when attacking. If Galmon or X Antibody is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, this Digimon gets plus 4000 DP, and 1 of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 4000 DP for the turn. Considering BT17 Galmon can be converted to a blocker, this means that if you go into this Digimon, you could in theory have a blocker Galmon X that's at 16,000 DP. This Digimon also has a when digivolving end of attack effect that once per turn deletes 1 of your opponent's Digimon with 10,000 DP or less. If this effect didn't delete, you trash the top card of your opponent's security and you unsuspend. Lastly, its all turns effect is if you have 0 or less memory, this Digimon isn't affected by the effects of your opponent's Digimon. Meaning on the Evo, if you blitz with Takato, or you attacked with Galmon and climb into Galmon X to pass turn, a variety of effects could pull the memory gauge back to your side at 0 and still let you be unaffected by even blast Digivolution effects, since your removal effect is end of attack. Meaning if enough memory is gained, you could be going for another attack and still be immune to Digimon effects. Romon X is the newest X Antibody Digimon in the neighborhood. This level 3 Digimon has a play cost of 4, and digivolves from Renamon or a yellow level 2 for 0. On play, and when digivolving, return 1 option card with plug-in in its name from your trash to hand. Its inheritable hits a Digimon for 2000 DP for the turn, when an option card with a cost of 2 or more is played. When you compare this card to Galmon X, one thing I like about Galmon X is that despite being a multicolored card, it's still a play cost of 3. And while Romon X can recycle cards from the trash, it's better late game than early game. Galmon X fundamentally works well in both scenarios, and so far, Renamon doesn't really impress me. As for Sukamon X, this card is going to probably be the waifu tax card of the set. This level 6 Digimon digivolves for 4 from any yellow level 5 Digimon. It can also digivolve from any level 6 Digimon with Sukamon in its name without the X Antibody trait. Meaning outside of Sukamon, this means that Sukamon Maid Mode and Kazuhamon are also valid choices. This Digimon has a when digivolving effect, where if Sukamon or the X Antibody option is in the Digivolution cards, you play 1 Uka no Mitami token, a Digimon that's yellow with 9000 DP, and has Rush. Your turn. Once per turn when any of your Digimon attack, you may use one single color option card with a cost of 5 or less from your hand without paying the cost. If you did, one of your Digimon unsuspends. One problem. This does not ignore the color requirement. Out of all the current Sukuyamons in the Digimon card game, hilariously, Sukuyamon Maid Mode is the only Sukuyamon that ignores color requirement of the option card. And while true, the plugins all require a tamer, that's the first hurdle you're always going to have to get over. In reviewing over the meta in Japan right now, Sukamon X is not a deck that is heavily played. Instead, Talmon Loop is the next big thing to hit the West when it arrives in February. No other members for the Renamon line, meaning it's off to the next lineup in the form of Dramon X. This black level 5 Digimon can Digivolve from Dramon for a cost of 0. It has a when Digivolving effect in which if you have Dramon or the X Antibody in the Digivolution sources, you may place one device trait option card from your hand or trash in the battle area. Spoiler, we don't have a lot of these cards yet due to the rest being in BT19, and since BT19 was split into 2 pieces, we'll get the rest in February. Additionally, when Digivolving, by trashing one option card in the battle area, you de-Digivolve 2 one of your opponent's Digimon. Black Scramble, Defense Training, and Memory Boost at this time are current viable ways to use this card. But the device trait options are where it's really going to be. And at this time, there are only 2 devices available in the wild, Pawn and Rook. This Digimon's Inheritable is a when attacking once per turn effect, that by trashing one of your option cards in the battle area, you trash your opponent's top security. This effect itself is quite interesting. As for Juston X, this 4-cost Digivolution Digimon can also Digivolve from a level 6 Digimon with Juston in its name, but it must not have the X Antibody trait. This card has Rush, Piercing, and Security Attack +1. When attacking once per turn, you activate one when Digivolving effect of one of your Digimon with Juston in its name in this Digimon's Digivolution cards. End of your turn. Once per turn if your opponent has an unsuspended Digimon, this Digimon may attack a player. Frankly, between the Sukamon X and the Juston X line, both new support cards feel underwhelming when placed side by side with the Galmon line. And while you could maintain a theme for your deck, the best part about this card game is that Digimon have flexible Digivolution lines, meaning you don't necessarily have to pigeonhole yourself into just the theme itself, but run other cards as well. For the last 2 cards, they're the purple Demon Lord support cards for Barbamon. Barbamon X is the newest X Antibody Demon Lord that Digivolves for 4 from a purple level 5 or Barbamon specifically for 1. When Digivolving and when attacking, once per turn your opponent may trash one card in their hand. If this effect didn't trash, you may play one Fallen Angel trait Digimon with a play cost of 7 or less from your trash without paying the cost. All turns, once per turn when cards are trashed from your opponent's hand, if Barbamon or X Antibody is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, you trash their top security card. Honestly, I kind of like how this effect can build boards wide, and because you have Fallen Angel trait Digimon like Neo Devimon and Lady Devimon, this helps bolster a new type of purple deck as well. With top-end Purple Ace Digimon, this makes your opponent attacking on their turn a potential deadly play. As for the option card 7th Jewel Rise, this 7-cost option card has a trash effect where when any of your Digimon Digivolves into Barbamon X, by returning this card to the bottom of the deck, you activate this card's main effect. Main: if your opponent has 5 or more cards in their hand, they trash one card in their hand. Then delete one of your opponent's level 7 or lower Digimon. For every 3 cards in your opponent's hand, remove one from this effect's level maximum. You know, as I was writing this, I honestly thought that this card was going to trash your opponent's hand down to 5. For 7 memory, I think it would honestly be worth it. But man, it feels kind of underwhelming. But this is also going to combo well in combination with the multitude of Devimons that have been recently released. Overall, X Antibody support cards have been moving away from being the main line of a set, and as a result these new ones feel less powerful with the exception of Galmon X. Which X Antibody line are you excited to tinker with, and why? Let me know in the comments as this week's content returns to normal uploads. I've got a few topics to discuss even with the holidays, and I hope you all have a happy holidays if you don't catch back up until next week afterwards. This is DIGI-PANDA, logging out.